Disclaimer. So there's a lot of information in this video, so I will try not to overwhelm you with it. Also, if you have not watched videos 101 and 102, then I implore you to go back and take a look at them, because some of the things we discuss here date back to those videos. Also, I should probably say whatever you decide to do with this information is your own business, and I am not responsible. I am more than willing to help you in any way that I can, as long as you don't sue me for it. So without further ado, I am AB, and this is Intermittent Fasting 103. Watch this. Okay, before we get started, there are some definitions you need to understand. First off is the big one and the only benefit that wasn't mentioned in episode 101, because it is also the most complicated, is autophagy. Now, autophagy or autophagocytosis is the process of your body removing or repairing any damaging cells within your body. Basically, your body will go out and try to access these cells that are not functioning up to snuff and attempt to fix them or destroy them. Okay, then so what does it do with these damaged cells? Well, it then takes them and converts them into amino acids. That is right, it converts them into the building blocks of protein. And this is also why autophagy does not work when you consume protein. Your body doesn't need to break down protein because it is already in abundance. However, this mode can still be activated by ketosis, stress, and or exercise, and ketosis we will actually revisit a little bit later on in this video. Also, I do realize that it's kind of dangerous to say that it destroys cells, but it actually does, and it is not that bad in this method. Autophagy is extremely humane in that it does not cause damage to other cells during its duration. Now, let's think about this for a second. Remember when we said that all the benefits of intermittent fasting in 101? Well, this benefit is the root of intermittent fasting and is the reason why it is so effective. The ability to repair damaged cells, essentially healing yourself, is what this process is all about, and that is why intermittent fasting can be considered a boon medically. But similar to 101, I will not get into the medical reasons or bombard you with medical knowledge, because you don't need that to understand the basics, so we will move on. Now let's evaluate that form. So if intermittent fasting is a method to turn on autophagy and consuming protein will turn it off, then how do we eat during a fasted state from 102? See, that's the thing that originally got me too. I personally, before these videos, was not aware that people fasted and still ate, because my variation is all that I knew. These videos have opened my eyes to the other methods, and now I kind of want to learn more about them. But the idea is that the warrior diet and with alternate day fasting is that you want to get in very low amounts of protein, because here's the thing, no one knows the amount of protein it takes to turn off autophagy when it is turned on by intermittent fasting. Some surmise less than 30 grams, but there is no definitive answer as of right now. When there is, I will update you, so don't worry, these videos will be updated in the future as I learn more. So with a diet like the warrior diet that says you can eat fruits and vegetables, well, there are some fruits that actually have protein. For example, peaches and avocados. So high amounts of this can possibly break your fast, so not to say that this method will not work. I'm not saying that at all. I am only answering why I said this method sounded kind of weird from 102. Same thing with alternate day fasting. If you get in too much protein or sugar, you can also inhibit your fast and autophagy. So I know that this is a lot to take in, so let me just go ahead and summarize it. Intermittent fasting's biggest benefit is that you gain the control of autophagy, but it is a very sensitive process and can be turned off by protein or carbs, but the amount is undetermined as of right now. Now let's move on to the next topic. Ketosis. Also, I will obviously be making more videos about all of this in the future, but I need to to talk about this process to set the stage for what I actually do. Now, ketosis or ketogenesis is what happens when glycogen, aka carbs, aka energy, is low or depleted and your body creates its own via ketone that is actually excreted from the pancreas. This method can also induce autophagy as well as bring about its own benefits, including turning fat into fatty acid chains so your body can use it as fuel. This process is called lipolysis, but I will spare you the definition now because it is not necessary. Now, on to what I do. So, back when I started reading up on intermittent fasting a year ago, I read up on the 16-8 method and I completely fell in love with it. It seemed so close to what I was already doing, I felt that my body would be able to adjust to it instantly because it was already so close. Then I started to read up on the other methods, the alternate day fasting and the warrior diet. And even though I didn't know about the fact that you can actually eat during your fasted state, I did learn a lot from them. I learned their timing. So what I did was I said, okay, well, there's the 24 split, but during the 24 split, I was afraid that I might not be able to build muscle if I was to incorporate that into an everyday lifestyle. Then I looked at alternate day fasting and I was like, this is definitely not something that I can incorporate every day. So the 16-8 method worked the best. However, I felt that the 16-8 method wasn't enough. Because again, I was 315 pounds at the time and I was still desperate. So what I did was I took them all and put them together and created my own method. So what I do is Monday through Friday, I fast for 18 hours and I eat for 6. Then on Saturdays and Sundays, I fasted for 20 hours and I ate for 4. So let's break this down into a weekly basis. Alternate day fasting is 48 to 72 hours fasted per week, but you can eat lightly during your fast. Warrior is 140 hours per week fasted, but you can eat lightly. Then there's the 16-8 method, which is 112 hours, but you don't eat anything. And then my method, which is 130 hours fasted, but you don't eat anything. Now, I had no idea what I created, but my body adjusted so quickly. It took less than a week before I was comfortable with it. I didn't have any problems. But before, I wrap this thing up, there is something that I want you to be aware of. My method was more of a derivative than an evolution, but there is also a derivative to my method. And that is if you decide to do what I did, but lower your carb intake, thereby inducing ketogenesis. So I will say it like this. I tried that form. I tried lowering my carbs while I was in a fasted state on my fast, and I got sick. And back then I didn't understand why, but now I do. It was because my workout regimen was so intense, my body needed those carbs, and it couldn't produce them quick enough to make my body consume it, therefore I got sick. So please, I implore you to take this with a grain of salt. Ketogenesis will happen on its own through weightlifting. There is no need for you to push the envelope on that. Autophagy is more than enough to help you lose weight or build muscle. There is no need to try to push the limits of intermittent fasting. It is not necessary. Okay, there's also no need to push the limits of ketogenesis. It is also not necessary. I would just say choose one of the 5 methods of intermittent fasting that is right for you and stick with it. And just, let ketogenesis happen as it will. It will occur on its own just through regular working out and strength training. And I will leave it there because I have been going on for a very long time. So, my second inhale of the day. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like button. If you really want it for them, go ahead and subscribe. I love you either way. Block 1 to the left, block 2 to the right. Block 1 is my Tumblr, block 2 is my site. And that is going to do it for this episode. Talk to the A, B to the O-U-T. Peace. And yeah, this thing, this 103, I think I'm going to do a 103-1 and a 103-2 because I still didn't go into my strength regimen and my entire schedule because I ran out of time. So be looking forward to that. I will definitely go into everything that I did as well as my work schedule and what I decided to do as far as my lifting regimen and when I put those in and when I put those together because of the things that I noticed within myself during my fasted state. So that will be the next video. Please stay tuned and please subscribe. Top out.